This tutorial will show how you can build a master mail merge document like this so that you can actually just have your students' names filled in automatically by doing a mail merge with your Microsoft Excel grades spreadsheet. And then from there you can continue with your digitized rubric if you wish, and use Breevy for filling in the comment section at the bottom. This is such a godsend for me, the guy with the atrocious handwriting, that I figure there could be some other people who have a similar problem like mine, and so this might be useful. Okay, so what we're going to do is something like this. If you can build something like this one right here, which is what this tutorial will show how to do, then it's very easy to customize it to something like this. Okay, so going back to here and actually going right to a new document, I think that would be the best way to start. We'll click on Insert and Table. We want to go with 3 columns in this table. This is where we put the student information. And this column is formatted just fine. This one here, we should have it so it's middle alignment, and this one should be right margin alignment. And then we have to do the mail merge. Okay, so click on Mailings. It's about the 5th tab over, and go on Start Mail Merge. Normal Word document works. That's probably the best one to use. Then go to Select Recipients, use Existing Lists, and that list will be the the Excel file that you were working on earlier. And I've just got to find mine without taking too much time. Whoops. Okay, and General Admin, there we go. And I'll use this one here, which I've actually set up for doing mail merges and whatnot. It's identical information as to what's on the actual grade sheet, but I like to keep that sheet completely isolated just in case. Alright, now look for the class. I have a few of them here. Okay, we'll go with this one right here. And that now has got all the students in that class listed on the recipient list, but I must edit it because it has every single field checked off, and then there'll be a lot of blank pages getting printed. So you probably will have to do the same. There might be an easier way than this for doing it, but this is how I do it. First, clear the check boxes with the top box, and then manually go through with the space bar and down arrow key. Space bar, down arrow, space bar, down arrow, all the way down until the students no longer show up. Oop, nobody there, so there we go. Oh, okay, so there we have 2 19s. That's an interesting thing I haven't seen before. Well, we won't worry about that. We'll just continue on with pressing OK. And we've done the editing of the recipient list, and looking over to about the 3rd or 4th one over, we do Insert Merge Field. Okay, and I like to find where my put the student's name in Korean first, so that's what'll show up there. Then for the middle section, name in English, so I know who I'm dealing with. And finally, we have student ID number, which is right here. And then, just because it will show up as just a bunch of numbers, we should probably put student ID and then number key, colon, space, and there. So now that'll be a nice mail merge. In fact, let's try it right now. It's all linked up and ready to go. So we'll go to the end, and it says Finish and Merge. Click on that, and go to Edit Individual Documents, and say All. And so all 19 students are done. There's the number 19, 1 of 19, and there's Sung Ho, and then we have a few other ones. Heebin, yeah, and they're all there with their Korean name, English name, and student ID number. Good, so that's done. And now this actual document that I just generated is useless, so I'm going to just close it off and not save it, because we still need to build the rest of the rubric. And so we'll just hit the Enter key for one paragraph and go to Insert again. And now it's time to start building that rubric. So we're going to insert a table, but we're not going to use this thing because it only goes to 10 columns and we need 11 columns. So go to Insert Table, then put in the 11 columns where it says number of columns, we'll put in just 4 rows right there and click on OK. So there's the table, and before I do anything else, I should tell the table to stay the same size no matter what happens. So what I just did was, let me back up, highlight this or click on this little target here, and then right click, and then after you right click you find table properties, and then you go to where it says table, and you want to set the preferred width for the entire table, and the number that I've been using with some success is 16.51 in centimeters. I'm not sure what that is in inches. I think it's just over 6.5 inches. Anyway, that's what you set it at, and click OK. Okay, so that part is set. Now I want to set the width of the first column, which is going to be quite a bit wider than this. So highlight the whole column, right click, table properties, and then go to where it says column, preferred width, and we want to change that. It's good that it's checked off, but it's not the right value. Change that value to 10.74. Okay, and OK. So there we have a slightly wider column, but we need to make these ones all the correct widths to make everything fit together nicely. So again, highlight them and then right click, table properties, and here we have column. Okay, that's what we want, but we want to change this from 1.53 to just 0.58. Click on OK, and there is now a table that looks a little bit more like this. Still got a ways to go, but we're getting there. Okay, what's the next thing to do? You can see that there's a bit of a margin. The flashing cursor is some distance away from the edge of the table, and that's true in all of the different cells. So I go to highlight the whole table, and then table properties, and then go to table, and where it says options, just click on that and change these default cell margin settings so that they are not so inappropriate for what we're trying to do. 0.1 for the top, and then tab to do the bottom. 0.1, press the tab key, and then we do 0.05, tab 0.05. Okay, and this checkbox probably should be unchecked, and click OK. Alright, this is looking a little better each time. Now this first row is actually the main heading. This is where I type in physical message and so forth. So center it, type in physical message dash body language. Whoops. There we go. And to make it look a bit more like a heading, I enlarge it a bit, bolden it, and to set it off a little bit more, I've done borders and shading. Now this was just a right click. Let me just highlight this properly. Oop, not the whole thing. We just want this one. It's not going to work. There it is. Okay, we want just this one cell. Then go table properties, or sorry, borders and shading is what we go to, and go to shading, and it says no color. Let's change that to, wait a second, no, we don't want to change that. No, that is the one you change, sorry. Okay, go here, and that gives it a bit of shading inside the cell like you see there. Okay, now to get rid of all these vertical lines so that it looks again like a blank space. It's not really blank, but it'll look blank. And to do that, just highlight those cells, right click, go to borders and shading again, and make sure you have the borders tab selected, and get rid of the borders that go up and down and the top one. And so you have the inverted L. No, that's not inverted, that's just a regular L shape. And there we have a lovely little blank space. Okay, so it's all set to go now. The next thing to do is go to the developer tab so that you can put in the legacy checkboxes like I'm showing here. Now there's one thing I should mention, that by default the Microsoft software does not install with the developer tab already there. You have to do something to actually get it to appear. Different versions of Microsoft Office will expect you to do different things. With 2010, you go over here to File, click on the Options button, and then go down to where it says Customize Ribbon, and then you'll see a bunch of options that are over here. Now, in this case, my developer checkbox is checked, but in new software that has not been used much, this is usually unchecked, looking like that. So you want to make sure you check that, and then your developer tab will show up. Anyway, let's get on with getting those checkboxes in here. Now I just noticed that these are not centered like they should be. We want to have center alignment for all of those cells, so I'm just going to go over here and click this, and that should make them center aligned. Okay, that looks like it is, so that's good. Now we'll go to the developer tab and click on the legacy forms, and there's the legacy checkbox. I don't know why only legacy works. I've tried some of the other ones that you may see there, but they don't seem to work. Like this one here, I've tried that and it doesn't seem to work, so I just stick with the legacy forms and keep doing it until you get about 5 of them done. Okay, so there's 5. Just highlight them and then do a copy and paste. When you paste, just use the this one, the overwrite cells, and there you've got a complete row. Now the next thing is to put the numbers in, because then we can take this entire row and copy and paste it into the rows that are underneath. So to do the numbers, it's not that difficult. Just get the cursor blinking on the right side of the box and type in your number. I'll use the number 10, and there it is. Okay, right arrow 2 times, first, second, and then write in 9. Okay, right arrow 2 times and put in 8, and just so forth all the way through. Okay, there they all are. Now if you want to change the size of the font on that, you could highlight that section and I believe just go over to where it has font sizes and stuff and click the downsize, and it looks like everything might be downsizing a bit, which is probably okay. Gives you more space. Ooh, that's a little too small. Okay, we'll leave it right there. I've got it set on 9. And then the next thing is just copy all of this and paste it into those rows underneath. Again, you can use the overwrite cells paste method, but there it is. All that remains now is to just fill in the different criteria so that it'll be like we saw when we first started this tutorial. And there's the first one that we were looking at right here on the left. Now, one other very important step that I should show you is that we have gray shading in all these checkboxes. We must get rid of that or the checkboxes don't work. So we stay in the developer tab where we are right now, go over to legacy forms, and then where it says form field shading, click on that, and it takes care of it for the whole document. Okay, and of course you can keep building and adding more criteria as much as necessary for whatever presentation you're going to be marking, and it's good to go. In the next tutorial, I'll show how easy it is to merge the master rubric with an Excel grading spreadsheet. Thanks for watching.